Hi again, Miss Tiffany here with you today with a bit of an art lesson. The kind of art that we do in my classroom is unique in a few ways. Often the kids are in our art studio just freely exploring different art styles, collaging, color mixing, just kind of finding inspiration on their own and having the materials available to kind of make that idea come to life. And there's other times in our art studio where we're doing more specific art skills curriculum. So what I have for you today is kind of where we were at in my classroom before all this happened for our art schools curriculum, so I could still get the lesson out to you all. And if you feel like trying it at home, I really have only spent $1 on all these materials. Everything else is things that I already had in my home that we're going to use today. So the art style, or the art technique, I should say, we're using today is monochrome. This isn't something that we've done with our kids yet in the classroom. We were going to start it these coming weeks. And for kids to understand monochrome easily, it really is just adding white or black to colors to get different tints and shades. But to start kind of them understanding about monochrome, we just start with white and black. After that introduction, you could move on to color, but we're going to start today with black and white. So a little activity you could do to talk about monochrome is to get a strip from one of your Amazon delivery packages, if you have them like I do. A paint stirrer could work too, and I've split this up into 7 sections. Just using a Sharpie. It doesn't have to be exact, doesn't have to be perfect, but there's 7 kind of clear sections your kid can see. In a perfect world, I'd have my supply of baby food jars from the classroom to use, but since I don't, I'm not going to use jars. Jars would be nice because you could actually save the paint that you've mixed today and use it later. So I won't be doing that, but I do have a palette, paper plate palette I've used. And if you do have other types of small containers that you don't mind getting painty and potentially like not cleaned afterwards, you can use those. I've only collected 3 of these so far, so I don't have enough for today. But if you do have small containers, baby food jars, this is wet dog food containers, you could use these in spoons to mix the paint. I'm not going to do that today just because I don't have enough. So today I'm just going to use our palette and I'm going to use a paintbrush to start. So the first thing we're going to do is just take our white. So this is the 50-cent acrylic paint you can get from Walmart. Does the trick. I do recommend using acrylic with this instead of washable or tempera paint because it's hard with black, and tempera paint is not a true black. So this is something I would venture into the acrylic paint realm. Just make sure your kid is wearing clothes that you don't care if they get paint on them that may not come out, or put like a big baggy t-shirt over them as a smock. So those are just some smock options. I've also put out some newspaper for my counters. So the first thing we're going to do is just put 7 little kind of piles of white paint on our paper. All right. And the first thing you can have your child do is start on one end, it doesn't really matter which end, and just fill that end of the paper with just the plain white. And when we talk about monochrome and color mixing, we talk about how lighter colors are weaker colors and darker colors are stronger colors. So you don't need to add a lot of a dark color to change a strong color to change a weaker color. So the first thing we did was just paint with white. So now we're going to open up our black. We're going to try really hard, especially with your kids, of just adding 1 drop. If you want to do this and have them be the mixer, that's fine. Older kids can probably handle doing just 1 drop of black in the first one. Then you'll mix that together. I'm doing it with my brush. If you have jars, you could do it with your spoon. And then once you have that next kind of shade of gray, you'll add that to your strip. So I'm just going to add it to the next section here. All right, so the next little area of white I've poured out, we're gonna put 2 drops. 1, oh, that was kind of 2 that came out as 1. You can use your discretion. And 3. Well, this is not really dropping, but we're gonna make it work. And then this one is going to have 4 kind of droppy type things. And let's get mixing those. And then as each one gets darker, hopefully, your child can add that to the next section. This is a more structured kind of art experience we do in the classroom. And you can kind of prepare, I'm gonna add a little more black to that one. You can prepare them ahead of time that this isn't just free paint and do whatever you want, that there's kind of a specific idea that we're gonna have in mind that we're gonna work on. And the kids in our class really like having that kind of more serious, important feel to what they're doing. All right, let's mix the next one. The shades should be getting darker. If your child isn't really noticing it, you can point it out and be like, oh, look, what do you see? What's happening? And just kind of support their curiosity with it and see what they have to say. All right, so we're gonna mix this next one. The grays are getting darker. We do have 1 more to add some black to. So this one we're gonna add several drops of black into our white. And really mix it up. And then make sure to save that last section of the cardboard strip to just have black. So that basically will just come straight from here or your jar, and the last section will just be black. Mine will be black with a couple peek throughs of gray since I need another brush. So in the end, you'll end up with a strip where your child can really see how black was able to change the white from here all the way to here, and then we have a straight black at the end. From here, if you do have jars with lids, definitely save the paint because you can use it to do some monochrome representational drawing later. I have a few links on this video to Picasso, a read aloud kind of informational video, and then a link to some of his more famous paintings where he utilized monochrome. This one I'll just link the black and white monochrome paintings from Picasso. And if you save the paint and you find an interesting black and white painting object around the house, you could then take it to the next level and have them do some monochrome painting. Hope this was helpful. It was pretty quick, pretty easy. If you need to take baby steps into acrylic paint in your home, this is a nice, easy way to do it. And yeah, hopefully your kids can continue their art skills curriculum at home with you. That would be great. All right, we'll see you next time.